There's a problem with Ethan Klein that we've talked about a lot, and that's the conflict that he has inside, all right? Because at one point, he wants to be the moral authority of YouTube. Maybe not all the time, but he wants to be that guy who says, hey, this is morally bad, we need to call this out or whatever. But then he wants to be like the comedian guy, and comedians are, well, known for pushing the boundaries, which is fine. In my opinion, there's almost, comedy and entertainment should have almost no limits. I mean, I love watching crazy IRL streamers who do horrible things in public for entertainment that I would never condone, but hey, you know what? It's funny. So here we have this podcast right here, the Frenemies podcast. It's between Ethan Klein and Trisha Paytas. So, my two favorite people on YouTube, basically. And on this podcast, Trisha has, well, a bit of a meltdown. She starts breaking out, and Ethan even references the fact that she's having a complete spurg out. I'll play a little sample of it.
One thing this summer, or when we started dating, you never, but you guys talked about me.
I don't even know what you're on about.
Just all this
She
shit.
just doesn't want you.
She's
not too good.
Don't fucking mention my name. Meanwhile, you guys can talk about whoever you want. You guys talked about me all spring without
you can talk about whatever you want too. She just doesn't like that you always come on and make the same.
So it's just, it's bickering basically between them. And what they're arguing about is apparently she said something about Gila, and Ethan's like, oh, well, my wife doesn't want to be talked about in this show anymore. And basically Trisha's like, she feels controlled. She's like, oh, well, I'm not allowed to talk about your wife who's a public figure. And then Ethan's just like, well, she doesn't want to be mentioned on this podcast or whatever. And then it's this bickering contest or whatever, right? They're arguing about super personal stuff about, they're basically arguing about how their podcast should be run as an episode for the podcast, which on its own, that's pretty AIDS, but like, whatever. They're allowed to do it. They can have a podcast where it all goes to shit or whatever. Here's the thing, though, is that she gets so upset, she starts breaking out in tears to the point where she walks out of the room. But before she even gets to that point, before Ethan, has time to lead her on into that point or whatever, he references twice that she's like having a breakdown or whatever.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure how to respond because I feel like you're having like a. I
said, let's just move on then.
An
We don't
issue.
have to talk about it anymore. You're the ones I talk.
You're having an issue. He references again here.
Honestly, and then not in this house. Like, I feel uncomfortable coming here.
I don't know what to do because you're having like a moment.
Well, the moment that they're having whatever gets really super AIDS right about here on the second clip, by the way. Mind you, this personal conversation that they're having, this moment where she breaks out into tears and gets out of the room or whatever, this was uploaded on the main channel as a podcast, and it was clipped twice on his highlights channel. All right, and I'm going to explain why I find this to be super AIDS, but first, let's just see the clip.
I said it's a
She has a fucking podcast. I brought life to the fucking H3 channel, but Hila's too fucking good to even mention her name. I said nothing bad. I said like, we should have her as a guest or whatever like that. Don't even mention Hila. She doesn't want to be talked about. Fucking.
Okay.
I literally don't care. Literally, I don't want to come back because I really fucking hate her.
So she always making comments about the family and how.
I wasn't. That wasn't it. I said, Hila should be a guest on the podcast. And you're like, don't fucking mention Hila. She's the one I'm talking about. Oh, a fucking queen. You guys can talk about my shit all
This went on for 20 minutes, by the way.
the time. But don't fucking mention her name. Dumb fucking bitch.
Okay.
I think we should just end it, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too.
She's such a fucking bitch.
She's not.
And you are too. And you're a fucking cuck.
You
have no fucking backbone.
All right, you should leave. We'll talk later. Yeah, you should get out.
I am going, but we're not talking later.
Dude, what the fuck am I watching? Is H3 like reality TV now? I mean, I know reality TV isn't real or whatever, but like, what is this show? This is the entertainment? This is the weekly episode or whatever? This is a failed episode, all right? Listen, I'm not the expert podcaster over here. I never claimed to be. But, as somebody who's had a show, I do a live show, and I've gone about, we're hitting 300 episodes soon or whatever. I know when a show goes off the rails, all right? I've conducted a few episodes. I've even conducted a game stream or whatever where I have my friend in the call, and due to some events or whatever, somebody in the call breaks down. It's only happened like once or twice in my memory that somebody in the call who is my friend has broken down, even to the point of tears. And you know what I did at that moment? I cut the stream off and I privated the VOD, all right? And people criticize me for that for different reasons, but when we get to a situation as severe, as drastic as, like, your friend is breaking down to the call, like tears or whatever, it's pretty common knowledge. You cut the cord, cut the tape, just delete the VOD, alright? Get rid of it. Why would you have that up on the channel? Instead, here, Ethan posts this is pre-recorded, alright? It's not live. So, they record this, he decides to edit it, post it, and then clip it twice. That's 3 monetized videos off of this situation. And you know what? Alright, people are saying, oh, well, Trisha let him. Trisha was okay with it. I'm not saying that he did this, you know, against Trisha's will. I don't really care about that. It's just, how is this content what he's uploading while he's also the moral authority of YouTube? Because you know, if Keemstar had an interview on Dramaler where he has somebody who's mentally ill on the show or whatever, and he eggs them on to the point of tears, you know he would criticize that. You know, and I can think of interviews where Keemstar has brought people on and they go off and they go into crazy rants or whatever, and Keemstar was criticized for that. You know the same thing would happen. So how is this like the content from our moral authority Ethan Klein here? I mean, if it's for entertainment, that's great, alright? Awesome. You like this stuff? Great. I'm not saying this shouldn't be allowed. I'm just saying it's a little bit funny coming from this guy. And had it been me in this situation, not that I claim to be the moral authority, that's kind of what the channel goes against, is like clinging on to morals or whatever. Let's just have some fun, alright? Even still though, if I had been in this situation, I would have cut the tape, delete the episode. I'm not throwing up an episode where my friend who's mentally ill is like breaking down crying on the show after I let him on for like 20 plus minutes or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's bizarre.
Fucking bitch, you too. I don't care. Fucking dump me. I couldn't care less.
I like how Ethan gives no fucks.
It's not about dumping.
Dude, he has a smile on his face.
You better just... Well, if just so you know what happened, she was talking about like how you're like, my mom's, she says like, your brother hates you and your mom's not, like she says this stuff in passing and it really upsets Hila. So she started saying this stuff and I said, Hila asked that we don't talk about this stuff anymore. So that's it. That's all that happened. No, I know. Okay.
Why is this like an episode? Like, what is this? Now he's talking to like his manager guy. Starkiller comes in here for a minute. Like, what is going on? Am I just new to this whole thing? Am I like the only one who just, I mean, I'm not a viewer of the Frenemies podcast. So maybe this is a regular occurrence, but to me, this just, it's both AIDS, but it also comes off as really laughable coming from Ethan Klein here. Now, my take on Twitter pretty much, and it's the same in my video, obviously, but I wrote, I could literally care less if Ethan Klein uses crazy people for content. I mean, there's no rules in entertainment for me, generally. You know, I wrote, however, you know, if Keem was the one pushing people to tears and shit, there'd be 20,000 podcast clips from Ethan being like, Keem uses mentally ill people for content. It's just an example of the greater conflict. You know, one day he wants to be the edgy guy pushing the boundaries, and then the next day he's the tattletale of YouTube telling us we are all bad people. It's either one or the other. And I think, you know, if Ethan Klein was consistent or whatever, he would be the guy pushing the boundaries like he kind of wanted to be. I mean, he's always said he wants to be a comedian. I think his first video, he says, like, yeah, I want to be a comedian. And that's probably a large inspiration for why he even started the podcast in the first place. But it's like, comedian one day, content nuke the next day. Like, it doesn't mix. It doesn't add up. But anyway, that's my take. Listen, again, I'm not the podcast expert, but I know a bad one when I see one, and I would never have uploaded that. That would have gone straight to the trash can. No way in hell I'd post something like that. But you know what? I'm just a cuck, alright? I'm just a beta male. I can't handle this high caliber of entertainment. So that's your Ethan Klein frenemies for the week. My name is Aryursi. I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace out, everyone. Free my channel. Let me stream again, damn it.